Hello everyone, welcome to the series of lectures of Mathematics 1. In the last lecture, we have seen the syllabus of Mathematics 1. Today we are going to start with one of the topics of units. Now today we are starting with the unit infinite sequence and series. From that, in this session, we are going to start with a infinite sequence. So the first topic is infinite sequence. What is the sequence? So if you are going to arrange any numbers in some particular order, then that is called a sequence, which is written in a form of u1, u2, u3, un. And here u1 is the first term, u2 is the second term, u3 is the third term. In general, un is the nth term of a sequence. The notation of a sequence is nothing but the set, or you can say that the curly bracket un, where n is running from 1 to infinity, or you can write down in a form of curly bracket un where n is greater or equal to 1, or you can say that simply curly bracket un. Then these three are the notation for infinite limits. If your infinite sequence, if your sequence is a finite, then it is written in a form of curly bracket un where n is running from 1 to m, or you can write down in a form of set of u1, u2, u3, um. Same manner, now we are going to define 2-3 examples of a sequence. The first example is n upon n plus 1. Here un is n upon n plus 1 and your sequence is starting with n is equal to 1. So we are going to substitute the values. So if you are going to put n is 1, then you will get 1 by 2. If you are going to put n is 2, then it is 2 by 3. Same manner for 3, it is 3 by 4. For 4, you will have 4 by 5 and so on. So if you are going to represent this in a graph, then you will get this type of graph. Here each point denotes the term of a sequence at 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Same manner, the second example is minus 1 raised to n upon n plus 2. Again un is minus 1 raised to n upon n plus 2, where if you are going to substitute the value of n, then n is equal to 1, then you will get minus 1 by 3, n is equal to 2, then you will get 1 by 4, n is equal to 3, then you will get minus 1 by 5 and so on. Here you can see that your sequence has an alternative sign. First term is negative, second is positive, third is negative, and continuing this manner. So this type of sequence is called alternating sequence. If you are going to see the graph, what is the graph presentation, then it is here. Here, if you can check out that some of the points are above x-axis, some of are below because of plus and minus value. Same manner, the third example is cos n pi by 2. Here we have written n is running from 0 to infinity. Now see, it is not necessary that your sequence is always starting with 1. Sequence may be starting from 0, it may be starting from 5, it may be starting from 8. Starting value may be anything. So do not worry about it. And here it is starting with a 0. So un is cos n pi by 2. If you are going to put n is equal to 0, then you will get cos 0. N is equal to 1, then you will get cos pi by 2. N is equal to 2, then you will get cos pi, and so on. So if you are going to find out the values, then cos 0 is 1, cos pi by 2 is 0, then cos pi is minus 1, then 0, then 1, and so on, so on, so on. So in a graphical presentation, you have only 3 points. Either it is 1, or it is 0, or it is minus 1. So the sequence has only 3 values. Now we are starting with a limit of a sequence. If the function has a limit, and you have learned the epsilon delta definition of a limit, using that definition we are going to find the limit of a sequence. We can say that un tends to L, that means limit of un is capital L if for epsilon greater than 0, if there exists some delta greater, if there exists some capital N such that n is greater than capital N, then mod of un minus L is less than epsilon. Now we are going to check out the properties of a sequence. Suppose un and vn are two convergent sequences and c is a constant, then As we have learned the properties of simple limit, same manner we are going to extend them for a sequences. Here the addition can be separated as same as in a limit, subtraction can be separated, constant term can be common out, and if you have given the multiplication of two sequence, then the limit is separated for both of them, and then you have to multiply the answers. Same manner for division, but in division provided that the denominator must not be 0. Last one is a limit of un raised to m, where n tends to infinity is same as limit of un tends to n tends to infinity whole raised to m, where m and un both are positive. Okay. Next one we are going to start with some standard limits. Some standard limits. The first limit is a limit n tends to infinity log n upon n, which has a value 0. Second one is a limit n tends to infinity 1 plus 1 upon n raised to n is equal to e, and instead of plus, suppose we are replacing with a minus, that means limit n tends to infinity 1 plus 1 upon n, 1 minus 1 upon n raised to n, then it will be 1 upon e. Same manner, next one is the nth root of n, where n tends to infinity has a value 1, and limit n tends to infinity x raised to n has a value 0 if the value of mod x is less than 1, and the same has a value infinity if the value of mod x is greater than 1. And for 1 and minus 1 we cannot say anything, that's why we have not written it here. Same manner, the limit of x raised to n upon n factorial when where n tends to infinity and x has any value, then this limit has a value 0. And the last limit is limit n tends to infinity a raised to n minus 1 upon n, it has a value log a, and instead of n, if we are replacing it 1 upon n, then the limit n tends to infinity a raised to 1 upon n minus 1 upon 1 by n has a limit log a. So both has the same limit, only we are changing the values of n. Now next topic is the convergent of a sequence, convergent sequence. So for convergence, if the limit of the sequence un exists and is finite, then the sequence is said to be convergent. Now where the sequence is convergent, then we are going to check out one example. Here we have taken the example 2n minus 7 upon 3n plus 2. That means you have un is equal to 2n minus 7 upon 3n plus 2. So for convergence you have to find out the limit of nth term un. So we are going to apply the limit to the nth term un, and here limit of nth term, that means limit of 2n minus 7 upon 3n plus 2, and n will be common out from numerator and denominator and it is cancel, and then you will get limit n tends to infinity 2 minus 7 by n divided by 3 plus 2 by n, and it has a value 2 by 3 as n tends to infinity, because 1 upon infinity will be 0. So 7 by infinity is also 0, 2 by infinity is also 0. So the limit it has a value 2 by 3 and it is finite, and nth term has a finite limit, that means your sequence is convergent. Now the next topic is a divergent sequence. For a divergent sequence, if you are applying limit to the nth term, and if it is infinity or minus infinity, or you have more than one limits, then in that case your sequence is said to be divergent. It is not necessary that your sequence has always a unique limit. It may happen that you get more than one limit, then also it is divergent, or you can say it is oscillatory. Here we are starting with one example. It is test the convergence of a sequence 2n plus 1. This sequence 2n plus 1. So un is 2n plus 1. If you are going to apply limit to the un, then you have a limit n tends to infinity to n plus 1. And if you are going to substitute n is infinite, then you will have infinite value of a limit of nth term un. And since it is infinite, so your sequence is divergent. Now we are going to check out two theorems, basic theorems of a sequences. First theorem is if mod un is equal to 0, limit of mod un is equal to 0 where n tends to infinity, then the limit of un where n tends to infinity is also 0. See, that means if you are finding the limit of mod and it exists and has a value 0, then simple un also has a value 0 where n tends to infinite. So we are going to check out one example. Find the limit if exists for limit n tends to infinity minus 1 raised to n upon n. So here your un is minus 1 raised to n upon n, and we are going to apply the limit n tends to infinity. Before we are going to take a mode for that. So limit n tends to infinity mode of minus 1 raised to n upon n. Now if you are applying the mode, then minus 1 raised to n has a value either 1 or minus 1, but mode is applicable, so minus is negligible and you will get 1 upon n. So since the limit of 1 upon n where n tends to infinity will be 0, so mode un has a value limit 0, therefore original un also has a value 0. So the limit of minus 1 raised to n upon n is going to be 0. Same manner, the second limit theorem is if limit of un is equal to capital L and f is continuous function at L, then the limit n tends to infinity f of un is nothing but f of L. That means you have continuous function and your sequence is inside the continuous function, then limit can be interchange inside and outside of the continuous function. That you have already learned for a simple function, and here we are going to extend it for a sequence. The sine function, cosine function, log, exponential, in all of them you have applied the limit which is going to be outside and inside the function. So the first example we are going to see is the limit n tends to infinity sine of pi by n. So here sine is a continuous function at every point that we are already aware of. So if you are going to apply the limit n tends to infinity sine pi by n, then sine is continuous, so limit will be going inside and you will get sine of limit n tends to infinity pi by n. And applying limit, so pi upon infinity has a value 0, so you will have sine 0 and sine 0 has a value 0. Same manner, another example we have written is for e raised to 2 by n. That is nothing but again exponential function is continuous everywhere, and if you are going to put the limit, then limit will be going in the exponent, so you will get e raised to limit n tends to infinity 2 by n, and that will be e raised to 0 and that will be 1. Okay. Now we are going to see some of the examples for convergence. The first example, we are going to test the convergence of a sequence n upon n plus 1. So here un is n upon n plus 1, applying limit to the un because we have to test the convergence. So for that we are going to find the limit. So for limit, apply limit to n upon n plus 1 and divide numerator and denominator with n, and that will give you limit n tends to infinity 1 upon 1 plus 1 by n. If you are going to apply the properties of limit, then limit can be separated and you will get 1 upon 1 plus 0, and that will again nothing but 1, and that is finite unique limit. That's why this sequence is convergent. Now same manner, another example we are going to see is the sequence n square plus n divided by 2n square minus n is convergent. So here un is nothing but n square plus n divided by 2n square minus n. Again applying the same process, applying the limit to the nth term. So if we are applying the limit to un and the limit of un, from that we are going to common out n square from numerator and denominator, and simplifying that will give you limit n tends to infinity 1 plus 1 upon n divided by 2 minus 1 upon n, and if you are going to apply limit to that, then you will get 1 by 2. Therefore again the limit is finite and unique, so the sequence is convergent. Now the next example is test the convergence of a sequence of tan hyperbolic n. Now the first thing, you have already learned the simple trigonometric functions, but here we have defined the hyperbolic function. Now what is the hyperbolic function? So in a bracket we have defined the sine hyperbolic and cos hyperbolic function. Now what is sine hyperbolic x? Sine hyperbolic x is nothing but e raised to x minus e raised to minus x divided by 2. Same manner, cos hyperbolic x is e raised to x plus e raised to minus x divided by 2. These are two basic rules. Using these two, we are going to find tan hyperbolic x as sine hyperbolic upon cos hyperbolic. Cos hyperbolic x is cos hyperbolic x divided by sine hyperbolic x. Sec hyperbolic is 1 upon cos hyperbolic. Cosec hyperbolic is 1 upon sine hyperbolic. So same manner as we have defined in trigo, in same manner here we are going to define the remaining hyperbolic functions Only we are going to use this two basic definition of sine and cos hyperbolic. Here please remember sine h of x, it is not sine of hx. See, h is not treated as a constant, it is a notation for hyperbolic. So please remember it. Now since un is equal to tan hyperbolic n, so it is nothing but sine hyperbolic by cos hyperbolic. So we are applying limit to nth term un and putting the values of sine hyperbolic and cos hyperbolic. Then we have limit n tends to infinity e raised to n minus e raised to minus n divided by e raised to n plus e raised to minus n. Now we are going to write down e raised to minus n in a form of 1 upon e raised to n, taking LCM and simplifying. That will give you e raised to 2n minus 1 upon e raised to 2n plus 1. E raised to 2n common out from numerator and denominator. That will give you 1 minus 1 upon e raised to 2n divided by 1 plus 1 upon e raised to 2n. If you are going to apply limit, then n tends to infinity, then e raised to infinity will be infinite and 1 upon infinity will be 0. So that will give you 1 minus 0 upon 1 plus 0. So the limit will be 1 and therefore this sequence is convergent. Now we are going on to the next example, discuss the convergence of a sequence 2 raised to n. Here we have taken simple exponent form, and if you are going to apply the limit, then the limit of 2 raised to infinity will be infinite. 2 raised to n, where n tends to infinity, has a limit infinity. So the sequence is directly divergent. Same manner we are going to take one more example, show that the sequence cos n pi by 2 is divergent. Now see, we have already discussed cos n pi by 2 in a simple example and we have seen what is the graph. Now if you are going with the values of n, then for different values of n, cos n pi by 2 has a different values. So considering the unit circle, if you are starting with n is 0, then you will have a value 1. If n is 1, then you will have value 0. N is 2, then you will have a value minus 1. N is 3, then you will have value 0. N is 4, then you will have a value 1. So considering in this manner, you are not aware of where n is going to be stop out at infinity. So you have 3 different limit, either it is 0 or it is 1 or it is minus 1. So that's why you have more than one limit. In this case, the sequence is said to be oscillatory. And oscillatory is nothing but it is a particular form of divergence. Okay, so whenever you have more than one limit, in that case your sequence is said to be oscillatory. Now we are going to see some typical example which is given here. Does the sequence whose nth term an is given by n plus 1 upon n minus 1 raised to n converges? If so, then find the limit of nth term un. So here an is equal to n plus 1 upon n minus 1 raised to n. So what we are going to do, for finding the limit, we are going to start with dividing numerator and denominator with n. That will give you limit n tends to infinity 1 plus 1 upon n divided by 1 minus 1 upon n raised to n. Now using the standard limit, if we are 1 plus 1 upon n raised to n has a value e where n tends to infinity, and same manner 1 plus 1 minus 1 upon n raised to n has a value 1 upon e for n tends to infinity. So putting that value, that will give e upon 1 e raised to minus 1 or 1 upon e. So you will have the limit e square. Therefore the limit is finite which is existing, and that's why your sequence is convergent. At last, thank you for watching me and listening carefully. If you have any doubt or any query regarding this topic, then please feel free to contact me. Thank you.